All right, so let's talk about acne. Acne is something that is I would say probably one of the hardest skin issues to deal with because one, or typically it's so visible. It's always usually on our face or on the back, but it's something that sticks out. People can see it. When you look in the mirror, you see it. It itches, it burns. All you want to do is pick at it. And I know this personally because I suffered with acne, probably worse than anything else. I do a lot of videos on psoriasis, but probably the worst skin issue I've actually experienced, it just wasn't most of my life, was acne. Pretty much age 15, I guess 15 or 16 years old until my sophomore year in college. I had really bad acne, and I've tried everything. I did the antibiotic creams. I went to the dermatologist. I went all the way into doing Accutane twice. And if you know what Accutane is, it is an intense medication. It messes up your hormones. It causes, I really believe that's what led me to actually start having digestive symptoms. I already had a digestive health issue, but I actually started getting irritable bowel syndrome afterward. I started getting anxiety. Just all kinds of stuff happened from that medication. So not a big fan of Accutane, but I'm telling you that to let you know that I've been through acne to a point where I was washing my face probably 5 or 6 times a day, and it was probably even more than that. But I had every soap there was you could find, the Neutrogenas, the Pro, whatever that other one, I don't even remember the name of them now. But yeah, and I remember doing that, and it just, nothing would change. I thought if I could clean my face enough, it would get better. And I'm here to tell you, it has nothing and very, very little to do with cleaning your face. Because right now, this might be weird to you guys, but I don't think anybody should wash their face. I think it's normal to not wash your face all the time based on the studies. There's a microbiome on your skin, and I haven't actually put physical soap on my face in years. That might seem weird to you, but it's true. And it's because I don't think, from what I understand about the body, I don't think it's a good idea. That being said, I want to give you 5 things right now that you can do that if you have acne, these are the first 5 steps. I'm going to give you a bonus at the end, okay? The bonus is going to be, hey, if you've done these 5 things, here's what you need to do next, okay? And I've had personal experience with this. I've worked with patients with this, and I've worked with patients that did the right things, their problems went away, and then they came back and we had to deep dive more, okay? So number 1, first thing you want to do if you have acne is, I talk about this all the time, but removed refined sugars. Refined sugars for men and women can really have a big impact on hormones causing acne, okay? Especially if you're eating, refined sugars in terms of high fructose corn syrup and other things that affect your liver, your detox pathways that really knock out a lot of the detoxification pathways in our body. These things will just, it's a recipe for it, right? And it's really weird. I would look at this and say, okay, this is when I was in middle school and high school, and my friends would be eating, because I had an idea that it has something to do with diet, but my friends would be eating like junk. I was eating like junk. I had acne. They didn't. It didn't make sense. And it was because it all goes back to gut health. It goes back to hormone health. It's not just about what you're eating in the moment. However, if you have acne, we know you have to make changes for your body to heal. Okay, so don't compare yourself to everybody else and saying, well, they're eating sugar, they don't have acne, they're not you. You have a different genetic makeup. Number one, well, you have some different genetic issues, the things there, but more importantly, you have your mom's gut. You have the microbiome that you have. They have what they have. It's a different scenario. So don't compare yourself. That's side advice there. So removing refined sugars, the second thing to remove, and I'm going to go in order here. Remove refined sugars, number 1. Number 2, take out gluten from your diet. If you have acne, then you have an inflammatory response happening in your body, whether it's from hormones, whether it's from gut health, whether it's from both. You want to reduce stress and inflammation on your body, and one of the easiest ways to do that is through your diet by removing gluten. Gluten's a gummy substance. Our body sees it as an infection. It creates leaky gut issues. The foods we're eating and the proteins in our gut will actually get into our bloodstream. It creates allergies, it creates immune responses, and can actually lead to even autoimmune diseases like psoriasis in the future for some people, right? Or other autoimmune issues, but it can be the link to acne for you. So removing gluten, and I would even say removing dairy, and that's cow's milk. You can shift over to things like goat and sheep cheese, and as long as it's organic, but take out cow's milk. It's just very toxic in majority of the forms you're gonna get it. So dairy, and gluten. So number 1, sugar. Number 2, dairy and gluten. Number 3 is the bad fats. Okay, when I mean by bad fats, that's a big, I guess, category. But the bad fats is going to be the meats that you're eating. Number 1, if they're conventional meats, raised in a conventional way, meaning in this big farm with maybe the animal's not moving very much. They're getting fed grains, which cows aren't meant to eat grains, but they're getting fed these grains full of glyphosates, full of all kinds of chemicals in that grain. they get infections, so they have to take antibiotics all the time. They pump them full of those. They pump them full of hormones to get them bigger. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons why we should stay away from conventional meat. But if you're someone that actually has something like acne, then you want to reduce inflammation. You want your good, healthy, you want your hormones to be in a good place. Well, if your fat ratios are off, your hormones are going to be out of balance. It's just how it works. Your hormones are built up by fat. If you don't have good fat, you can't produce good hormones, right? That's the core of what a hormone is. And so I would say that definitely to eat organic, free range, close to home. Find yourself a local farmer, start using that meat. And meat is actually very good for you if it's eaten properly or done properly. Now, I've known people that said, okay, well, then I'm just gonna go carnivore. I'm gonna go all meat, and that's gonna be the answer. Great, give it a shot. That's not always the answer for everybody. Sometimes it's much deeper than that. And some people that have actually done that makes them worse, okay? So, but you can give that a shot if you want, but the quality of the meat is what's most important, okay? The next one, also a part of those bad fats is gonna be the oils that you're eating. So when you're eating boxed foods, you're typically gonna get some sort of rancid oil that they made the food with. And I would just even say, let's just say those boxed foods aren't really food. I mean, if we really deep dive into them, they're kind of refined so much and broken down and preserved and everything else. But let's say you're getting a boxed thing that says organic on it, and you read the ingredients, and they're all real foods. But then you have something like sunflower oil or safflower oil or canola oil or vegetable oil, things like that. Those are going to be inflammatory oils. They have a high omega-6 fatty acid count, which just creates a ton of ratio imbalances in our body and causes inflammation. So those are some of the other bad fats. Is going to be the seed oils that are in our products or that you're cooking with. So coconut oil is going to be better. Avocado oil is going to be a little bit better. Ghee. I know I said stay away from dairy, but the process of making ghee can actually be not have the negative impact that dairy usually does. So ghee, ghee, coconut oil, avocado oil, those are good ways of cooking, using cooking oils. Okay, so that's fats. We got sugar, we got fat, we have dairy and gluten. The last couple things on here is preservatives or chemicals. So again, when you read the ingredients list, if you can't read it, don't eat it. It's going to cause damage and inflammation in your body, which is going to be, again, linked to the acne. If you've learned one thing hopefully if you've been watching my videos and whether I'm talking about psoriasis, whether I'm talking about neck pain or back pain, whatever we're talking about, it kind of all goes back to the same thing, and that's inflammation and stress on your body. Everybody responds differently to it, and getting your body in balance is going to require the very similar things. So it sounds like a broken record, but it is. And the truth is that those chemicals are going to create chemical stress on your body and create tons of inflammation. In return, you're going to see things like acne. Now, if you've done all the things I'm telling you, and you've done even more than that investigating, you still have acne, the answer is still out there. It just tells you still have inflammation and stress. That's what it tells you, okay? So it's pretty straightforward. So the next thing on there is how we get rid of the chemicals. Now we say, okay, what foods do you not do good with? Okay, and that's a big question because everybody's a little bit different in what their immune system is going to respond to based on its history and how well it's functioning. Okay, so I like to do food allergy testing, and I think that's very important, do an IgG food allergy test, and getting rid of foods that your body isn't doing good with. Okay, and the way these food allergy tests work, it isn't just like random, it's what antibodies does your body create to certain proteins. So if you're eating eggs and your body's creating antibodies every time it sees the egg protein, and you're having eggs 2 to 3 eggs a day, well, you're going to be constantly inflamed because your body's always creating an immune response to that. And so removing that's going to be important. So getting a food allergy test, if you want a food allergy test, just put in the comments, I want the test. We'll send you a link to that. You can purchase that. I think it's $250 or something. It's a nominal fee, but it goes over, I think, 200 different foods. It's very effective, so I highly recommend that. It's well worth it looking into that. But if you want that link, just let me know. We'll put that in the comments or comment, and I'll give that to you. But yeah, so it's really deep dive into that. Now the bonus that I talked about at the end here is you do those things. You do those 5 things. You do them for a period of time. Give it about 3 months of following along that process. And if you still have acne, maybe it's gotten a little bit better, but it's still there, or maybe it seems to keep flaring up, then that's what I'm gonna say. You really need to investigate deeper, look at your gut and see what's happening in your gut. It could be, we do actually a stool test. You send that to, we use Diagnostic Solutions as the lab. And you actually do a stool sample. You send that out. They tell you what the microbiome in your gut looks like. They tell you if there's any inflammatory responses. They tell us how well what level your IgA levels are, which means is kind of like your immune response within your gut. It goes through a lot of inflammatory things, what kind of inflammation you have. It can tell us what good bacteria you do and don't have. Big picture, it tells us how well your body's breaking down fat, how well it's breaking down carbohydrates. So it's just a really more in-depth evaluation to say, okay, you've done all these things, but something's still off. Let's deep dive more into something like a stool test. Okay, so if you want that test, same thing. Just in the comments, I want the stool test. I'll send you a link to it. I don't, on the top of my head, sorry, I don't have the price there, but it goes straight, it's a lab fee. They send you the results, and if you want someone like me to help you with it, you just let us know you want help with it. We tell you what that looks like. But yeah, so that's a big picture of getting rid of acne. And I can tell you guys, I'm going to be really, really clear and honest with you guys. Though that's not how I got rid of my acne, but that's how I've helped other people get rid of their acne. And I'm saying that's not how I get rid of my acne. It hasn't come back because I didn't know any of these things. I wish I was in a position where I just watched a video and started to learn this stuff instead of doing something like Accutane. I took Accutane. It got rid of my acne the second time. The first time, I only did it for 50% of the process because it was so miserable, and it started causing my back spasm. My back would almost go out on me when I played soccer. I had to quit playing soccer for a period of time. I mean, it was a miserable time, and so I couldn't finish it. And then in my sophomore year, or between my freshman and sophomore year of college, I went ahead and did it again. It was still miserable, but in the summertime, I was able to handle it, and I wasn't playing soccer in the summertime, and I did it. My point is that after I got done with it, I started having anxiety. I mean, it was about 5 years of just not being myself, and it was miserable. And then this is how I learned how to eat healthy and do all these other things, because that's what got me back. So I guess I dealt with the anxieties and things, and the stuff I'm teaching you helped with that. Point is you don't have to go down that line. Just start doing these things that I'm teaching you. They work, and if he doesn't get the full picture, then keep investigating next step. I can promise you taking a drug for acne is not the answer, and it will destroy your microbiome to where you have to do a lot of work to fix it down the line, and you don't have to go that way. I know it's miserable to look in the mirror. I know it's itchy, it's uncomfortable, it affects your mood, it affects how you feel about yourself. But here's one thing I will tell you. What I did learn after I got after I got done having acne, and this is, because I still had a girlfriend to this time and everything else, and I always thought I just must look really bad, is when I would talk to people, like most people would tell me, yeah, they never really noticed. No one really cares. No one really notices. I mean, there's some small parts, but at the end of the day, they don't really think about it. The only one person it really, really bothers is you, and I get that, but it kind of helps to think like, okay, I don't have to be as self-conscious about it as I think I do. So hope that helps. But yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and we're going to be continuing to put out videos, and I hope you get a lot of value from this, and that you share this with other people, because if we don't make this shift in our healthcare, people are going to continue to get sicker, they're going to continue to get drugged up, and we're going to get just more and more health issues and more problems. All right, you guys have an awesome day. We'll talk to you next time.